Previously on Bobbleheads on the Dash.
I am a card-carrying 2-cow cowboy, and I have earned the right to wear these boots.
I wonder if I can go to a local zoo and kidnap a chimp and force it to smoke.
You got really drunk and decided that, hey, there's a bear in the woods. Guess what I'm about to do? Meow! Meow, meow, meow! Meow, 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 meow!
Hey everybody, it's Sara.
And it's Charity.
And welcome to Bobbleheads on the Dash. So this is part 2 of a very riveting episode. If you haven't listened to episode 3, which is called Pescatarian Elephants, we talked about some of the weird rules and laws that the United States have. So, patriotism at its finest. So now it's time for the sequel.
That's also where we learned that camels don't have fingers. And if that doesn't make sense, now you have to go back and listen.
Not only do they not have fingers, but apparently donkeys need a bath very badly. So, And
on that note,
ablution for donkeys. So, I guess we gotta do our usual thing, our protocol, right? Because
yes.
Obviously you haven't figured out that since you're already on YouTube watching us, the decent thing that you need to do is like and subscribe.
If you consider yourself a true American, do your part. Like and subscribe. Find us on all the social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and the tube.
Only Patriots subscribe to our channel. But yeah, so basically like what Charity said, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, that usual stuff. Okay, so back to part 2, Revenge of the Weird U.S. Laws. I think that's how sequel titles work. Okay, so we went through a whole lot a few weeks ago, but I'm going to start with the letter A, so Arkansas, or if you live in the Wichita area.
Arkansas.
Yeah, they pronounce it Arkansas, or at least the river. So if you ever happen to come to Wichita, Kansas, and you say Arkansas, they know you aren't from around those parts.
We still say Arkansas for the state. I don't think anyone says the state of Arkansas. That's just ridiculous.
But there is an Arkansas City and an Arkansas River, so you have to know the differentiation between the two. That's only the locals, right? So, in Arkansas, you cannot walk your pet cow down Main Street after 1 p.m. on Sunday.
Darn it. That ruins my Sunday plans.
Yeah, especially
because I was going to walk out of church and be like, you know what? Let me go get old Bessie. It's time for our walk, our post 1 p.m. walk.
That is, I guess it would have to be, because that's the only logic I can think about it with being after church, because 1 p.m. is a very specific time. It's after 1 p.m., so I guess you can do it before church, like at 10:30.
Well, cows got to go to church too, so.
That's true. Oh, I was trying to think of there's no good cow
sacred
church.
Cow. Well,
sacred cow. There we go.
That's the wrong religion. If we're talking about.
Well, I was trying to think of what's a good play on words, but I couldn't think of anything.
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
Thank
you.
You're welcome.
And then there's one more. So it's also illegal to honk your horn at a sandwich shop after 9 p.m.
Oh.
So it'd be funny if it was like a burger shop.
I'm gonna pull up to Jersey Mike's at 9:01 p.m. and just blare that horn.
Yeah. You probably could, because it's not illegal in Kansas, but Arkansas.
Oh, that's true.
Loophole. There's a big loophole there. So, but
the word Kansas is in Arkansas.
That is true.
I don't know if that doesn't help my case.
Is that another loophole?
No, I just wanted to state that the spelling is the same besides the AR in front of Kansas.
Okay, yeah. It's
R.
I was gonna say it's Arkansas, but she did pirate.
It's the same.
It still works.
Pirates have laid claim on the state of Kansas. This is getting off to a goofy start.
It is goofy. All right, your turn. This goofy grin.
I was just going through the list. Okay, I'm going to go in order. So our next state is Connecticut. So we're going to go way on the East Coast here. It's illegal to walk on your hands while crossing the street. It's also illegal to walk backwards after sunset. So sunset's what, I guess that depends on if it's summer or winter.
Oh, maybe like 6, 7. I guess it does depend on the.
So if you're the type to walk backwards after sunset, you have to be aware of the changing clock throughout the year. Because right now
because you got a daylight saving.
Yeah, because right now we're in summer, so sunset isn't going to happen until like 8:30 or something. So you're good. If you're a backwards walker, then you're good in the summertime. But man, once we get into winter, if you're a backwards walker, you better stay inside at like 5 o'clock.
What if you walk backwards while walking on your hands?
Oh, but you have to be crossing the street.
Okay.
Walking on your hands backwards while crossing the street after sunset, well, you might just be locked up and thrown in Connecticut.
Yeah, that does limit your mode of transportation. If that is transportation. Like, I don't go by foot, I go by palm, or something like that.
I don't know. I think... do I even know anyone in Connecticut? I know someone from Maine.
If it'd be anybody, it'd be you. I don't think I know anyone in Connecticut.
I know lots of people on the East Coast, just not in Connecticut. So I can't confirm
we can neither confirm or deny that that's still a thing. If there is anyone from Connecticut watching, preferably while walking on your hands, however you're able
texting,
to do that.
That's talent. You're going to have to like hop on one hand while watching and texting us.
While going backwards at the same time.
Crossing a street after sunset.
Yeah, please let us know from wherever jail cell that you might be.
But do it safely, because we don't want you to get hit by a car.
Yeah, that's the least of your worries.
That is our public service announcement, brought to you by Bobbleheads on the Dash.
There we go.
Okay, so you need to do Delaware next, because I'm liking what I see here.
Oh, well, Charity likes
the second one, yes.
Okay, so for Delaware, the first one is, it is illegal to sleep on beaches between midnight and 8 a.m. It's also illegal to fly over water unless you're carrying enough snacks and drinks.
And this is why airlines have the sodas and snacks on board of their flights.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or it's like a teacher's like, did you bring enough for the rest of the flight crew?
You say, heck yeah, I did! Bust out my Cheetos and Kool-Aid. Let's fly over this ocean.
Yeah. Come fly with me, let's fly away.
Only if you have snacks.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's that Frank Sinatra caveat we didn't know about. So, but yeah,
that's in the deleted scenes of the Frank Sinatra biography.
The alternate recording. But that is an interesting thing. Like, you can do anything you want flying overseas or whatever, but you must have enough snacks and drinks for everybody. But I mean, I guess that seems like a fair thing. Because you gotta be hydrated at 55,000 feet or however high you go.
Why is it just Delaware though? Like, I feel like that should be a rule for everybody. Everybody needs snacks in their life. Whether you're flying over water or not, I just need snacks. Like, I could go for a snack right now and I'm on solid land.
I wonder, I guess it is you have to still be in Delaware to fly over. Now, admittedly, like all those smaller states, you have, Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. There's not a lot of.
But you're saying you're flying over water though. That's specific. So I don't know if there's any major Delaware bodies of water. Delaware is kind of small. Like when you look at the U.S. map, it's kind of. I know it's bigger than this, but it's about this big.
Well, like I said, it's like amongst all those other smaller New England states.
But, I mean, I guess there's something that happens when you fly over water over Delaware where that hunger just kicks in and you're like, if I don't get a snack now, we're in trouble.
And then they're like, what? You didn't bring any? There should be a law against that. I do believe that's how it came to be. But see, but then going back to it's illegal to sleep on beaches between midnight and 8 a.m. So maybe that's what happened. They were flying. Maybe something happened. They got stranded. They had to wait for help, and no one brought any provisions.
How do you get stranded in Delaware? It's this big.
I don't know.
It's not the island of Delaware.
Here on Delaware.
Yeah, we're not on a deserted island, so I'm just trying to think why, but
yeah.
So Illinois, their first rule is it's illegal to give your dog a lighted cigar. And I immediately think of that old painting where the dogs are playing poker.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think, is there...
None of them were from Illinois.
Were any of those dogs smoking in that picture?
At least on this painting, there's at least a couple dogs with cigars. There's one that's smoking a pipe.
Oh, but it's not a cigar. So, he is not going to jail in Illinois. You shouldn't give smoking things. You shouldn't.
I mean, smoking of any kind.
Yeah, you shouldn't give any of that to your dog. But
I don't know if it's the same painting. It does look like it's an actual.
But watching you
cigar.
scroll, there are a lot of pictures of smoking dogs, which I didn't even think that was a thing. If you're wanting a painting with a dog smoking a cigar, you have your pick of them.
We already have a weird algorithm with our Google stuff because we just look up the most randomest of things. So now that I've typed in, dogs with cigars. here's some smoking dogs in your area.
What's funny, on a side note, there's kind of this thing where I don't know if it's trending, but if it's like, if you die, you need to have someone that's appointed to delete your search history in case you were looking up questionable things. With me, I don't have anything questionable. It's just like, no, but not questionable in like a sexy way. It's questionable like, why was she looking up dogs with cigars?
Yeah, it's just
like you would look through my history and be like, what? Wait, what? Like it makes no sense at all. It's just I have many random things that pop into my head, but my mind is a very interesting place.
It is. Ask me how I know. All right.
Okay, Illinois. The second rule: mispronouncing the name is a $5 fine of this specific town. The town is called Joliet.
So like Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, but it's spelled Joliet. However, it kind of looks French. Like, I feel like you would say like Joliet or something, but it's specifically Joliet.
There's so many weird pronunciations because, even though it's the United States, we have, stuff that might sound French or stuff based off of like Native American pronunciation or something like that. And they might be hyphenated or have like 20 letters. So I feel like that's pretty common in any state.
For this town in Illinois, though, I feel like this is just something you would do to tourists, right? Like, it's kind of like there's certain games or whatever that you do in a bar where it's like, oh, if you do such and such, then you have to buy everyone around. Like, this, I feel like, because nobody who lives in the town of Joliet is going to mispronounce it because they know the town. Mm-hmm. So if you mispronounce it, that means you're a stranger. So that's just fueling their economy in Illinois by getting $5 from random tourists saying Joliet or however you mispronounce it.
If there's anyone from Joliet and, you're a huge fan of the show, are you still, finding people for mispronunciation?
And if you had to pay $5 as a stranger to Joliet, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Because maybe if we do some research, we could find that maybe it should be pronounced Joliet or Joliet.
Okay, I'm going to go to Minnesota next, just out of sheer curiosity. So, Minnesota. In St. Cloud, Minnesota, you cannot eat hamburgers on Sundays. Which I think the people in, is it Arkansas, that need to team up with that, because if you can't walk your cow after 1 p.m.
You can't be butchered to make hamburgers
on Sundays.
Yeah, for people of Minnesota.
And that'd be an interesting crossover. That actually logically, based off of
Minnesota is up here. Arkansas is down here.
What if Minnesota gets their beef from Arkansas, and they have to walk, they have to go on this long, almost Oregon Trail trek.
If you don't die from dysentery
or cholera, you get your burger next week. So I don't know. That would be a weird crossover for that.
As we discussed in one of our documentaries, we learned about the blue laws, which meant you couldn't do things on Sunday. So a lot of these Sunday rules, I'm wondering if it has to do with like a person's business and operating on a Sunday. So if someone had a hamburger stand and they were trying to sell burgers on Sunday, they didn't just shut down the stand. They just made a rule. It's like, hey, no burgers selling on Sunday. So that goes for everybody. But we know you, Bart's hamburger stand. Our eyes are on you. Quit selling them burgers on Sunday.
Yeah, Bart, what the heck? Although, depending on the time period, I feel like it'd be the whole thing. They would call it
Bartholomew's
beef. So
Bartholomew's beef and bun stand.
Gotta get some triple B before Sunday.
Only sold on Sundays. He wanted to get the after church crowd. I mean, when you stay in church, listen to a fire, hell, and brimstone sermon, you get a little hungry after that. And he was like, "Hey,
because you can use the brimstone to
and the fire to
sear
sear the burgers." Yep. It's like, hey, you're going to hell anyway. Might as well go on a full stomach.
And this is coming from two pastors' kids, so we're allowed to say
but
that.
But we didn't sell any burgers on a Sunday, so we're not going to jail.
Yeah, we're still going to heaven, Bart.
Sorry, Bart.
Sorry, Bart.
If your name's Bart.
and you own a burger stand. Bart's Burgers.
Oh no.
Okay, and then the second weird law is it's illegal to cross state lines with a duck on your head.
Quack quack.
Yes. So, see, it's stuff like this where I wonder. I bet you someone just did that just to see how far they can get away with something absurd. And maybe that's what they were known for.
So what if you're walking, minding your own business, and a duck flies over and he's like, you know what? Instead of landing in this tree or on the ground, I'm going to land right here.
Maybe the guy's head looked like a nest, right?
Probably if he had messy hair.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's not like he owned the duck and, like, his duck was like, me and my duck are going for a walk. What if the duck is flying over and you're at the state line and that duck's like, I'm going to park it here. And then the duck cops come and they're like, quack, quack, quack. Oh, it's time to go to jail.
The duck cops, they specifically have a precinct because this happens so often.
I mean, they specifically have a rule. Don't yell at me. I'm not the one arresting people with ducks on their heads.
How did the siren sound? We're like, quack,
yeah, quack, 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 quack.
Oh my god.
Okay, we can't keep that in. That's probably the dumbest thing I've done so far on this show.
Oh, no, there's plenty more. I mean, I bet you didn't expect a duck-sounding siren because of duck
I didn't
cops.
expect a duck-sounding siren. When I woke up this morning, that was not on my list. That was not on my bingo card for today, for 2025.
That's what we should do, is just have bingo cards with just absurdity, posted on them, and then we have to figure out
when we get to our 100th episode, we should have enough episodes where
we can actually make a
bobblehead
bobblehead
bingo card. We'll get back to that.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, your turn. Yeah.
Okay. So Missouri, and I feel like we can have a heart to heart here because I lived in Missouri for a little bit of my life, and so I have some questions. Missouri. Getting an elephant drunk or high is prohibited. First of all, where are we getting these elephants? Also,
we know where the drugs come from. Where does elephants come from?
My follow-up question is, for a human's consumption of, drugs and alcohol or whatever, there's probably a certain amount that it takes for a person to get a little tipsy, right? So for some people, they can't hold it down, maybe one or two drinks, and they're already, out.
Yeah.
An elephant is very large. Yeah. So how much do you need to use to get an elephant? And I do this because we obviously don't know what an elephant looks like. A large elephant, how much does it take to get an elephant high? That is a lot.
Well, based off of Dumbo.
or drunk. Well, okay, you can't go off of Dumbo.
Well, it didn't say what size elephant. Because Dumbo was a baby elephant, and because it's Walt Disney in the 1940s, he totally just, in his depressive state, the mouse was like, here, take a drink. Didn't realize he just drank like a whole bottle of whatever alcoholic things, and they had the elephants on parade. So thank you, Walt Disney. I think we kind of know how much it takes, at least like half a barrel of beer or something.
Well,
it gets them drunk / high, and they start singing about pink elephants. And then they find themselves on a tree because he flew, right?
If we're going to talk about Dumbo, I am going to make a request that we do a whole separate episode talking about Dumbo and other Disney movies. Okay, side note, sorry, we're going to put the states away for a second. You know how many movies I've gone back and watched as an adult? And I'm like, Oh my god! I watched Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, I watched Lady and the Tramp a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, this movie's terrible.
Whenever you watch anything old from whatever era, you got to be aware of the time period. So
it's not just a time period.
Well,
it's like I didn't realize how sad some of this stuff was.
Yeah.
Or now with the time period, like there's some things where I'm like, oh, that was racist, or like, like in Peter Pan, there's a whole song about like the red man or the Indian Native American, whatever. Like there's a bunch of stuff, but like Lady and the Tramp was very sad.
Fox and the Hound was very
Fox and the
sad.
Hound. Oh, just like.
Is that your heart, or is that sound? Is that fireworks going back?
It's a broken heart that's like, and then it shatters away. She doesn't like my interpretive dance.
You know what else we didn't expect on the bingo card was Charity doing Foley sound effects of a broken heart losing its hinges and then just dissipating into the ether.
I'm setting the mood.
Interpretive dance and all. The broken heart.
Okay, but I'm not done with you yet, Missouri.
Okay.
Because I have a bone to pick with you here. So, Missouri, looking at a law here from 1820.
See, I figured out that's probably as old as a lot of these laws. Like, they gotta be at least like 200 years old.
But the fact that they existed, that's the problem. And you know it was all men that made these. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud.
I'm sure that's a true statement.
Okay, so Missouri, $1 annual tax if you're single and between the ages of 21 and 50. That's a huge age gap.
That is a big age gap.
So like,
providing they live to 50.
so like, you better get married like right outside of high school.
I mean, that was pretty common. Like, they probably get married, 15, 16 or something like that.
But I mean, like, let's say, you finish high school, you're 18. You have until the age of 21 to get married. Otherwise, you're going to get an annual tax. And, it's only $1, but we're in the year 1820, so $1
That might have been like...
was a big deal to be annually taxed.
Well, usually the taxing and getting a fine is a form of punishment. Well, so it's like...
And I'm wondering if this
you got to keep paying it until you get married, and this is what you get for avoiding matrimony.
Well, it's not even necessarily...
Or not avoiding it,
Well, does it count for widows? Like, what if you were married, but then your husband dies and you're 28 years old? Does that mean that now that you're single, you have to pay the annual fee?
I don't know. I mean, okay. Again, I guess I wasn't there when this happened, but I'm assuming that widowed is not the same as single. I'm thinking these are unmarried people. So they've never been married at all.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm basing it just off of that, not the fact that
that
the
makes
spouse
sense. Well, I'm
passed away.
thinking, we got some wars coming up.
Yeah.
So if you were married and your husband was sent off to war, well, sucks to be you. You're not going to have to pay that tax because he got it.
Yeah. Also, there's something that predates it called the Gold Rush. And that was a very cutthroat thing, too. So it's an 1820 law, so they find it like, nothing is going to happen between the states. No one's going to find gold. There's no, So, but yeah, I guess just from a generic standpoint, yeah, I'm assuming it's just unmarried people in general. I don't think that includes widows.
Well, and also there's a thing going around on TikTok now. A lot of single people are talking about how expensive it is to be single and live on your own. If you have a live-in partner of some sort or a roommate situation, you're at least living in a dual income household where you can share expenses and stuff. But if you're by yourself, you're paying all your bills yourself, you're buying all of your groceries yourself, you're doing everything, and that is expensive. Real quick, what in 1820, look up the money change.
So what was $1 worth in 1820?
Yeah, what was $1 worth in 1820? Because I think that'll drive the point home.
Okay, so $1 in 1820 was about the equivalent of basically about $27 today. I don't know. It depends on how much money people were making back then. That could be like a month's wages or something. Like that's a very high tax as a punishment for not getting married as soon as you hit double digits. I don't know. I feel like someone will bring that back and be like, oh yeah, the unmarried tax.
We're already being taxed enough. I don't need to add anything to it.
Yeah, don't punish me for not being married yet. I'm doing my best. So, yeah, Missouri.
Okay, one more before we end. I mean, we could be here all day because this is only the tip of the iceberg. Going back to the East Coast. Okay. So I'm looking at you, Vermont. So your first one is everyone must bathe on Saturday night. Now this one, I agree with. Now my preference would be everyone bathe every day. However, I know this is an old rule. Some people maybe not have had indoor plumbing or trying to fill up the old family tub. Like, I get it. So at least bathing once a week, I'm tracking.
You know how people did that back then with the tub, right? It'd be nice fresh water. The dad was the head of the family, so he would take a shower first.
Well, that's where the don't throw the baby out with the bath water.
It's just the fact that, if you have multiple kids, they're all in the same water until you get to the end. Again, thank God for modern day. And we don't have to share bathtub
At that
water.
point, I'm going down to the creek. Like, at least I can go...
Well, if there was one nearby.
You better find one. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Okay, so Vermont. I'm tracking with you on the first rule. Everyone needs to bathe. I get that. Yeah. Vermont's a small area. Stink rises high. If everyone in Vermont's stinking, it's going to be a smelly state. I get you. We're tracking. Now, Vermont. Rule number 2, we need to have a talk here. So wives must ask their husband's permission to buy false teeth.
Why specifically false teeth for them?
So if I'm toothless and I'm craving a steak and I'm hungry,
you can't nub a steak.
Yeah, like. And what if the husband says no? Like, no, not today, dear. Go eat that mush that I prepared. Like, no. And if I'm not married, so like if I'm single, is that a punishment? Like, because I know they didn't have probably proper dental hygiene. Maybe missing teeth was common.
Yeah. I mean, we had a few presidents that had that problem too.
I guess my thought is, it's not like she's stealing it. Like, they specifically said to buy false teeth. Like, if I got money to spend...
Well, it'd be his money, and maybe...
It doesn't matter.
Well, maybe that was expensive back then, getting false teeth.
Okay. Money spends, right? Like, if I'm a shopkeeper and I need money for my establishment to continue on, and someone comes in and says, hey, I will give you money for something you have in your shop, you take the money.
Well, I'm thinking maybe that was considered a luxury.
So rich people.
But if you have the choice, like, should I get teeth or should we, buy, food, clothing, whatever stuff that you needed.
Here's my thing: you can buy all the food you want. If you can't eat it,
that's true.
What you gonna do? Lick a steak? Either that, or if hubby says no, I'm gonna knock his teeth out, and then we can both walk in together and each buy us a pair of teeth.
Or it's one of those like, see, now we're even.
Yeah. See how you like Mr. Num Num on a steak? Uh-huh. Now we both gonna go walk into the tooth shop, get ourselves a set, we gonna walk out smiling, and then walk out to the local restaurant, order the biggest steak, and chow down. And that's why I'm glad I live in the year 2025.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I live in modern day.
And I have my teeth.
Yep, yeah.
And I'm not getting cows drunk, or not cows, elephants.
We're not getting elephants drunk or high because, there's 2 to choose from.
Well. And Bart, if you're still selling burgers on a Sunday, save me one.
Yeah.
And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching today's episode.
Yep, we'll see you next time. Butterfly in the sky.